Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yanneli and today I have a very late swatch and review of MOONCAT's Pandora's Box collection. So, procrastination got the best of me, and like I had all the swatches done, I just need to record the comparisons, and then Phasmo came, and then I just wanted to play Phasmo with friends instead of editing. So yeah, I got sidetracked and here I am uploading this super late, but this is a permanent collection, so I'm not too worried about it, and you can make your decisions for buying any and all of these polishes later on. You can wait for the sale that might happen here soon, don't know when. But yeah, and I know that this video is very long, and it's not that I want to make it long. Somehow the comparison portion is long. I guess I just had a lot of polishes. I wanted to see how they resembled and stuff, but I will leave timestamps in the comments of this video, so please feel free to use those. I don't expect anyone to watch an almost hour-long swatch and review video of 9 polishes, so utilize the timeline. As a disclaimer, MOONCAT sent this collection to me as PR. I did not purchase this collection, nor am I obligated to create any content or post any content, but here we are. I want to talk about the polishes. I want to have a little bit of discussion on how we like this collection and how similar or not similar they can be. So yeah, enjoy the swatch video. Let me know what you think of this new way of swatching. So this time I tried to utilize my entire fingers, 9 of what I could use, in order to make swatching a little faster for me versus only doing it on one thumb and then waiting for that to dry and then going back in again with a new polish. So yeah, let me know if you like this new swatch video. I might have to tinker around with how I have my hand positioned so that way the polishes are still visible on the camera, but also I don't get freaking carpal tunnel doing this, you know? So yeah, let's get into swatches. First up, we have Root of All Evil, and this is a dark burgundy red with shifting shimmers ranging from green to blue and a little bit of pink purple at extreme angles. The brand does state that this is intended to be a semi-sheer polish, so I only did 2 coats since there's no reason for me to try to get full opacity, and so visible nail line will be happening here. If you don't like visible nail line, go ahead and get yourself a little blurring base coat such as MOONCAT's Getting Even nail primer or Hollow Taco's pink blurring base. Overall application is very easy, very smooth. I didn't have any issues applying it. And then something I did notice, it does stain. I literally wore this with only a peel off base coat underneath for maybe an hour or 2, and when I took it off I saw that my pinky was stained red. So if you want to prevent staining, make sure you kind of double up on an actual base coat. Up next we have Serpents of Eden, and this is a true green multi-chrome polish. If you have been staring at the green shift in Jewel Beetle that MOONCAT released not too long ago, look no further. This is your green multi-chrome polish. On camera the first coat may look like a 1-coater, but there are a little bit of bald spots here and there. I am very biased towards multi-chromes and especially greens, so automatically this is a fave. For me, 2 coats was plenty to get full coverage, but of course full coverage is dependent on how much polish you have on your brush, how thick or thin your coats are, and nail length, you know, multiple factors. So the primary shift in Serpents of Eden is this lime green to teal, and at very extreme angles you can kind of see a blue. The formula was very easy to work with. It definitely felt a little bit thicker than how Root of All Evil felt, but again, Root of All Evil was intended to be sheer, so it had a thinner formula, whereas this one you got coverage in 2, almost 1, maybe if you have really short nails. So the formula is a little bit of a higher viscosity. Moving on, we have the Glory of Innocence, and this is a light purple holographic polish with what looks like a light teal green shimmer throughout. It's kind of in that in between where it can look green, it can look a little bit blue leaning. I highly believe that this is the same formula as Full Scream Ahead. Upon applying the first coat, I was very surprised to see how light this polish was compared to how it looked in the bottle. The purple isn't as vibrant as I've seen in the MOONCAT marketing pictures that they have out there. It's much more lighter versus like vibrant light purple, you know, and because of the hollow, it kind of gives it more of a gray tonality because hollow is silver. And speaking of hollow, I had a hard time deciphering what type of hollow this is. I recorded this video well before MOONCAT released the descriptions of these polishes, and all I could find on their website now as I'm doing this voiceover is that they call it a hollow shimmer. So I'm not sure if it's actually like crushed hollow or some form of crushed hollow itself, but it doesn't look like it would be linear hollow. Overall, I only needed 2 coats to get full coverage. Here we have Lust for Vengeance, and this one's a little confusing. So the base color is actually this dark mauve red, but because of the shimmers that it has in it, it makes the base color look more of a almost hot pink or fuchsia magenta, whichever tone you want to call it, type of color. So on the first coat, it kind of looks like a brown, like a red brown, but as you take the nail and you shift it around, you kind of see that pink shimmer coming throughout, changing the color of the base, making it more alive in a sense. This gives very decaying, if you will. I was rather shocked at how thin the first coat was. However, it wasn't as thin as Root of All Evil. Like, I still got full coverage in 2 coats. But I can definitely say if you have longer nails, your nail line will definitely be more visible than mine. But for me, 2 coats was plenty. But I'm sure if I did a 3rd coat, not only would the base color deepen more, I might not have seen my nail line when I put my nail close to the light source. And I don't look at my nails like that. I'm typically looking downwards versus upwards. Next up, we have the Arsonist. Now this is a vibrant red. It may look like it's an orange leaning red. However, on the first coat, you can see that it's actually more of a cool tone red. It has a little bit of that blue purple hue in it, but because of the red shimmers integrated in this polish, they do shift to an orange color at certain angles, making this polish appear like it's an orange leaning polish. However, I can vouch for this, it is not orange leaning whatsoever. So surprisingly, I felt like I had full coverage in 1 coat. However, I doubted it because it's a red. I think reds for me are notoriously known to be patchy, and led me to believe that I should do a 2nd coat, which I did, and then I knew for certain that I had full coverage in 2 coats. Formula was easy to work with, just like the others. I didn't have any issues. I didn't feel like it was a thick formula for me either, so just overall a smooth application. Here we have Green-Eyed Monster, and this is the glow-in-the-dark polish in the collection. So this one is a milky white base polish with green to pink at extreme angles shimmers, and because of the glow-in-the-dark property, it has a green tint to it. So it's described as milky white. To me, I immediately believe that I'm gonna need a couple of coats to get full coverage. What I will say about this polish is that it's not patchy or a milky white polish, which is surprising since I am swatching it on my pinky here in this video. I only needed 3 coats. The brand also recommends that you do 3 coats so you can have that max glow in the dark effect. And then for shits and giggles, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't just because it's my pinky and it's like the smallest nail, I did do 3 coats on my right thumb that I just didn't record, but you will see in the sun shots that I do have my nail painted. I don't feel like I need to do more than 3 coats, but again, this depends on variable factors. Like the easiest solution would be to wear a blurring base coat, as that will eliminate the visible nail look much quicker than adding a crap ton, like 5 coats of polish, you know? So again, it's milky white, expected to be milky, but overall as a white milky polish, I think it's really good. The fact that it wasn't patchy and the fact that it built up nicely in both the smallest nail on my hand and the biggest nail on my hand. I will say, however, that this polish, the formula, is the thickest in the collection, but it wasn't thick enough to where it was goopy and unworkable. So right now I'm okay, but I will add thinner eventually. And the brand does state that these types of polishes do generally get thicker quicker. Moving towards the magnetics, we have Forbidden Fruit first, and this is a dark, vampy, almost like pomegranate juice base color with a green magnetic shimmer. So the first coat is a little patchy. I'm also swatching with my non-dominant hand, and she was shaking trying to be in focus. Even though I overbrushed it, it still leveled out nicely, and it wasn't like textured. It dried up very smooth on the first coat, and then when I went on the second coat, I didn't see any texture come about from the first coat. So I think it has a good like leveling property. And then I absolutely love this polish unmagnetized, but of course I want to show you how this looks in 3 ways, which is the cat eye look, unmagnetized, and the velvet effect. With the cat eye look, you see the red pomegranate juice base color more than you do unmagnetized or velvetized, because you centralize the green magnetic particles to be a line showcasing that red base color. When it's velvetized, those green magnetic particles come up to the front, creating a light reflector kind of thing, giving it that 3D effect. And then when you switch your hands or tilt your hand to extreme angles, you kind of see that red hidden underneath. And then unmagnetized, it just looks like a green multichrome in my opinion, but I love it so much. So moving on to Curiosity's Trap. This is a brush gold type of polish when it's unmagnetized. When it's magnetized in the cat eye effect, you see that blue color pop out. You see those gold micro flakies come in as well. And that magnetic particle is a sharp yellow line. And because, you know, blue and yellow make green, when it's unmagnetized, it gives it a green tint to it, so it's kind of like a green leaning bronzy color. Overall, I am enjoying the stark contrast of these magnetics. I don't think I've owned many magnetics that aren't the same color or within the same color family. When you pull the magnetic particles together, usually it's either they're silver, or if it's a blue polish, you'll have a different shade of blue for the magnetic pull. But overall, I found these magnetic formulas to be quite easy to work with. I didn't find them too thick, but they are, you know, kind of high viscosity compared to like Serpents of Eden and the Arsonist, but it's not as thick as how I felt with Green-Eyed Monster. So overall, good formula. I did do 3 coats for the cat eye and the velvet look. Unmagnetized, I only needed 2. Lastly, we have Pandora's Box unmagnetized. This is a very coppery polish, and you can barely see any hint of the magenta color underneath. This one was close to being a 1 coater for me unmagnetized. However, I only did 2 coats as that gave me the full coverage. When I magnetized it, I did 3 because when I congregate the magnetic particles to create the cat eye effect, I can see the patchiness from the red base color or the blue base color, you know. I don't see myself wearing it too much in the sense of the unmagnetized or the velvet effect, primarily because I feel that it clashes with my skin tone. So if I do reach for Pandora's Box, I am most definitely going to be wearing it in the cat eye look. In the cat eye effect, the gold centralizes into a sharp line, and then you see that magenta color, which I think has these little pink shimmers that kind of adds more of a glow when you tilt it. And then in the velvet effect, you have the gold magnetic particles come up to the front, and as you tilt your hand, you see the pink and the magenta underneath. So here are the colors as a skittle on my fingers, and they all have 2 coats, no top coat. The only exception are the ones having Green-Eyed Monster, which is my right pinky and right thumb. Those have 3 coats. Rapid fire from left to right is the Arsonist, Loss of Vengeance, The Glory of Innocence, Serpents of Eden, Root of All Evil, Green-Eyed Monster, Forbidden Fruit, Curiosity's Trap, Pandora's Box, Green-Eyed Monster. In the shade is where you can really see those polishes that have all those shifting shimmers kind of glow up more, because I truly believe that shimmers perform better, honestly, in indirect lighting. Just because you get the opportunity to see them more in your face versus indirect sunlight. It's kind of like too bright to kind of see the colors, and then it's usually just one color that you get to notice. Moving right along to comparisons. Up first we have Root of All Evil, and in its state like this, it just looks like a multi-chrome, right? But well, as we saw in the swatching portion of the video, it actually has like this really deep red base, and so I thought to try to bring about that for comparisons. So the first one I wanted to compare it to was with the Lust for Vengeance, which is in the same collection, because they almost look the same. Like they have the same, maybe this is more intense green shimmer than this one is, and this one pulls like pink when I tilt it, and this pulls blue when I tilt it like this. And then the next one, also within the same collection, is Forbidden Fruit, specifically unmagnetized. The base color kind of seems similar. You can kind of see it in the outer edges of the bottle here, but of course this one's metallic and it does shift as well, but not to the intensity of Root of All Evil. And then the next MOONCAT comparison I have is Fields of Lavender, which is from their Fallen collection, and I thought maybe the base color would be similar, but I didn't realize how purple Fields of Lavender is. I know it's in the name. And then because of the base color again with this one, I wanted to compare it to Freshly Bitten, and you can tell right off the bat these aren't at all similar in any sense. And then next up I have Hollow Taco's Mischief, kinda similar vibes. This is probably a true multi-chrome. This has like shifting shimmers, but the colors on the bottle almost look the same. And then the last one is Cirque Colors Very Valentino, and this has no hint of green shiftiness. But the base color, again, I think the base color, like what shows here in the outer edge of the bottle, is similar to what I see in Very Valentino. So in the middle we have Root of All Evil. To the right, we have Hollow Taco's Mischief. To the left, we have Lust for Vengeance. On top, we have Forbidden Fruit unmagnetized. Underneath it, we have Freshly Bitten. To the right diagonally, we have Fields of Lavender unmagnetized. And then left diagonally, we have Cirque Colors Very Valentino. And if I lift it to kind of take away some of the light shine here, you can kind of see the base color a little more and see how much lighter Lust for Vengeance is compared to Root of All Evil. For Forbidden Fruit, because of the green metallic shimmers in there, it kind of distorts the base color a little bit. It's kind of hard to pinpoint the exact color, but it's like an even more muted red of Lust of Vengeance, and I feel like this one pulls more blue leaning, primarily because of the micro shimmers it has in there. So yeah, not exacts, but pretty darn close, I would say, with these 4. Up next for comparisons, we have Serpents of Eden, and for this one, I thought to compare it to MOONCAT's Jewel Beetle. I know primarily when stood like this, it's kind of a pink shift to it, but it does lean a little bit on the green shift at extreme angles. And then next up is Alien Invasion. And I believe this one is sold out, but these kind of have a similar vibe going on. This does include a little orange shift. This does not, primarily stays in the green and blue area. Then we have Plankton, and this isn't really a multichrome. It has a more of a green shift to it and some hollow in there as well. Up next is Hollow Taco's Per Don't Bother Me, and I thought at first that these would be very, very similar, but again, this one kind of has that little orange tint, chartreuse type of color going on. Maybe this is a closer comparison to Alien Invasion. So I thought, let's do another multichrome with the multichrome. And this is Hollow Taco's Chameleon Coat. They are discontinued, I believe. And Chameleon Coat's more of a darker, more earthy tone than Serpents of Eden. And this one also does shift different colors. Like it has some pink, some blue, some yellows. And then this is a long shot, but I was curious as to how they would stand next to each other. And this is Hollow Taco's Green Taffy. This is a linear green polish. And then lastly, I thought of Dimension Nails Tyrannosaurus Rex. Kind of has a similar green, but also similar to Chameleon Coat, it's kind of more on the darker end. And it has that yellow shift in there, it seems. Okay, in the middle we have Serpents of Eden. To the right we have MOONCAT's Alien Invasion. To the left we have Hollow Taco's Per Don't Bother Me. Underneath is Hollow Taco's Chameleon Coat. On top we have MOONCAT's Beetle Jewel. On the bottom right diagonally we have MOONCAT's Plankton. On the bottom left diagonally, we have Hollow Taco's Green Taffy. And then on the top right diagonally, we have Dimension Nails Tyrannosaurus Rex. Then if I tilt this a little bit, you can see the main difference between Per Don't Bother Me and Serpents of Eden. I remember this one. A lot of people were showing interest in how those two compared, but Per Don't Bother Me from Hollow Taco is more of the later stages of limes, if you will, whereas Serpents of Eden is fresh limes. Alien Invasion has this blue tone base. Beetle Jewel, again, primary color is this pinky orange hue that's going on here. Chameleon Coat just looks like army green. And then Green Taffy is just a linear polish, so there's no shiftiness to it. And then Plankton here is this almost neon-y type of color, and it's also very sheer, and the shiftiness stays to a more lime green shiftiness. This is kind of like in between these two. And then Dimension Nails, from my point of view, if it weren't for the shimmers or the shiftiness in Serpents of Eden, they could almost be exacts, these two. But Dimension Nails Tyrannosaurus Rex is not a multichrome, it's just a nice pearly green, if you will. Okay, moving right along, we have the Glory of Innocence, and this isn't so much to compare in terms of how similar they are, this is to compare in terms of it being the same formula. So this is MOONCAT's Full Scream Ahead, and you can see in the bottle that the shimmer is almost in the same family. I recall MOONCAT considering this more of a minty green, and this just kind of looks slightly teal and green and blue. Now for actual comparisons, I have here Ghost Ship, and Ghost Ship has this little blue shift in there, and it does have some hollow as well, but the purple base I thought would be similar, but this now looks more pink leaning. Next up, we have To All Who Ghosted Me. This one is, I would say the purple base is slightly similar to this one. This just primarily has hollow. So next up I have, this is a Storm Warning, similar to Ghost Ship. It's just the difference being that this is a more pale metallic-y purple than Ghost Ship being more of a vibrant purple. And the next one I thought maybe would be After the Rain. And this is more of a periwinkle. And then maybe I thought, how does it compare to Hollow Taco's Crystal Mommy? This is a crushed hollow formula. So again, this makes me think that this is more of a linear, despite MOONCAT not saying that this is a linear holographic, it just says hollow shimmer. So I'm not quite sure what that means. And then lastly, I thought of actually comparing it to a identifiable linear hollow polish, which is Holo Taco's lavender syrup. And this is different. This is like a mix of crushed and linear. I don't know how to describe it, but see the difference in how the hollow flare shows up in a true linear hollow polish. So in the middle we have the Glory of Innocence. To the right we have MOONCAT's This Is a Storm Warning. To the left we have MOONCAT's Ghost Ship. Underneath we have Holo Taco's Lavender Syrup. On top we have MOONCAT's Full Scream Ahead. Bottom right diagonal we have MOONCAT's To All Who Ghosted Me. Bottom left diagonal we have MOONCAT's After the Rain. And top right diagonal we have Holo Taco's Crystal Mommy. I am rather shocked to see that To All Who Ghosted Me is very gray base leaning, but even on the camera and in person, the Glory of Innocence does look very similar, the base color at least, very similar to All Who Ghosted Me. And then here it is next to a linear polish, which is Holo Taco's Lavender Syrup. And this lavender syrup pulls more of a purple, whereas the Glory of Innocence is more gray leaning. So yeah, nothing is quite similar. These two were very close, but there's still a lot of differences that I can justify having both. But again, you do you. Moving on to the next one, we have Lust for Vengeance. And this one, I thought of comparing it to MOONCAT's Love Bomb. It feels like the base color is slightly similar. I was curious on how Fields of Lavender would compare. But yeah, they're very different. This one's kind of a little wild. So I thought of Island Peace Amped. And in my mind, I didn't register it as being more purple leaning. But the shimmers are kind of similar. I don't know if you can see that. This is more prominent shimmer than this is being more like scattered throughout. The next one I have here is Cert Colors Earthen. The base color I thought could maybe be similar. But similar to Love Bomb, Earthen is much more muted, and the shimmer is different as well. This is my hear me out. I thought of Holo Taco's Solo Mission because it's that muted pinky red, and this is kind of what it was giving me when I first applied it on me. But again, this one's such a dark muted red, very different, very different. This one's another hear me out. Thought of Holo Taco's Flash Drive. When this one is sat at like the position, like this, essentially laying down like this or standing up like this, the pink shimmer in this is very, very prominent, and it made me think of Flash Drive, but clearly they're not the same whatsoever. In the middle, we have Lust for Vengeance. To the right, we have MOONCAT's Love Bomb. To the left, we have Cert Colors Earthen. On the top, we have Island Peace Amped. Underneath, we have Holo Taco's Solo Mission. Bottom right diagonal, we have MOONCAT's Fields of Lavender. Bottom left diagonal, we have Holo Taco's Flash Drive. And then here, you can see that almost like red burgundy wine type of base color underneath. And then what could be the closest when you see it that way would be Fields of Lavender, honestly. Despite in the bottle it looking very purple, the base color, I think what's changing it is the shimmers, because the shimmers are orangey red. And then Love Bomb is more gray tone, kind of muted. Could be in the same family, but still very different. And then Earthen is more purpley red than this one is. So yeah, I would say these three are kind of it right now. Okay, so moving on to the Arsonist, I thought of comparing it to Holo Taco's Sacrificial Lacquer. Now this one is a magnetic polish. I'll show that here. Showing. And it doesn't have any shimmers of any sort. So it's just a magnetic red. And then because it is that like orange tone due to the shimmers, I thought of Holo Taco's I'm Over It. And kinda works out. There's a lot more going on in Holo Taco's I'm Over It, but the orangeness is there. And then lastly, which is kind of a stretch, but it's Holo Taco's Gosh Garnet, and it does shift, but it's a very dark red, so completely different here. In the middle, we have the Arsonist. To the right is Holo Taco's I'm Over It. To the left is Holo Taco's Sacrificial Lacquer, and underneath is Holo Taco's Gosh Garnet. You can see how much more of a blue tone, a cool tone if you will, the Arsonist has compared, especially next to Sacrificial and I'm Over It. So the Arsonist, like I said before, primarily gives an orange look to it due to the red shimmer shifting to an orange shimmer at extreme angles. So when you look at it straight on, kind of like nothing else is going on, no lighting's bouncing off or anything like that. It is a cool tone red. It don't like here you could see the lighter shade of it, where in the middle it's more packed. I went a little heavy here, but here you can see that almost berry type of shade going on, and then the shimmers really add that extra red oomph for this polish. All right, moving on to Green-Eyed Monster. Of course, we have to look at it next to What a Brilliant Nose. So in What a Brilliant Nose, the shimmer is primarily pink, and then at extreme angles it will switch to orange and whatnot. And then for Green-Eyed Monster, it's primarily a green shift, and at very extreme angles it shifts pink. Like it's the camera doesn't even pick it up. Like that's how hard it is. Maybe you can see it on the outer edge here if I tilt it. Maybe if you're okay with the green shimmer, this one would be a great replacement or substitution for What a Brilliant Nose. Next one is Memento Mori, and this one's more of a gray white. It's very off-white with a kind of sharp orangey red shimmer going throughout. Keep in mind that this one has a green tint to it because of the glow-in-the-dark factor. And then I thought of Holo Taco's Milky White Shimmer. So this one, I would say is a truer white, again, because it doesn't have the glow-in-the-dark factor. It does not have that green tint like Green-Eyed Monster does. Milky White Shimmer, it does have some shimmers in there, despite them being kind of hard to see. And then lastly, I thought of Holo Taco's Sugar Rush. And this is technically a white. Okay, so in the middle we have Green-Eyed Monster. To the right of it, we have What a Brilliant Nose. To the left of it, we have Holo Taco's Milky White Shimmer. At the top, we have Holo Taco's Sugar Rush. And underneath, we have MOONCAT's Memento Mori. Green-Eyed Monster really is very green leaning compared to all the other whites or off-whites. And it's not only because of the glow-in-the-dark property, but it's also because of the green shimmers. It tints the white to be more green leaning. So What a Brilliant Nose is whiter than Green-Eyed Monster, but not as white as Milky White Shimmer, because the shimmers in there, I believe, are white as well. So this makes it look the whitest out of all of these. But yeah, so nothing is too similar unless you start customizing something more of a true white to get it to be more like Green-Eyed Monster. Okay, moving on to Forbidden Fruit. Now this one is a magnetic, so I wanted to compare it to Pandora's Box, which is the other magnetic in the collection. This one pulls more of a magenta fuchsia color underneath with an orange / coppery yellow gold pull. Another one is Queen of the Dead. This one is a thermal polish, and I thought that the cold state of it looks very similar to each other. Of course, main difference is one's magnetic, one's thermal, different properties, different viscosities, and all that jazz. All right, so earlier I said, hey, this one's kind of like Garden of Evil, but reversed. So it's just a fun comparison, okay? So moving on to Holotaco's Devil Advocate. I thought that perchance the base color might be similar, and they do look similar. Moving along to Cat's Evasion. This is a multi-chrome that when stood up like that has a predominantly green shift, and then it has the purple. So I'm like, okay, similar color family here. Of course, main difference is the formula, right? So next up, I thought of Sabrina from ILNP. And this is another vampy dark wine red. It does have some shift to it. And it goes from like red, green, and yellow, and it just transitions, kind of giving a multi-chrome. Moving on to my final one here, and I have Salem. Salem is a shifty polish as well. It's not magnetic, but again, if I put it in that position, it kind of gives a similar vibe to the base color of Forbidden Fruit. Okay, so we have quite the assortment here. So in the middle, right here, is Forbidden Fruit and the cat eye effect, where it shows that dark red base. And this is it unmagnetized, showing predominantly the green metallic pull. To the right, I have Holotaco's Cat Evasion. And then furthest right is Pandora's Box unmagnetized. Underneath the unmagnetized blob of Forbidden Fruit, I have Garden of Evil. And then underneath the cat eye magnetic pull of Forbidden Fruit, I have Queen of the Dead. To the left of Forbidden Fruit's cat eye blob is Holotaco's Devil Advocate. And then furthest left, I have the cat eye look of Pandora's Box. Above the magnetic cat eye of Forbidden Fruit, I have ILNP Sabrina. And then above the unmagnetized Forbidden Fruit, I have ILNP Salem. Lots going on here. These three are the ones looking very, very alike. However, Queen of the Dead is a thermal. It will change color, so it won't stay this dark vampy red. If you run warm, it'll change colors. Unless you run cold, then it will stick to this color. And then Devil's Advocate is more of a true wine red. And also with Devil's Advocate and with Forbidden Fruit, the base color deepens, almost blackens in a sense. Otherwise, I don't really have any dupes, any exacts going on here. This is a very unique metallic polish for me. Okay, moving on to the next magnetic, we have Curiosity's Trap. And this is a yellow magnetic pull with a blue base, showing the gold micro glitters in the background, or gold micro flakes in the background. And I thought to compare it to another blue magnetic, and that is Drown My Demons. I thought maybe the blue base could be similar, but Drown My Demons is more of a navy blue type of color. So up next, I have ILNP's Midnight Kiss. I thought of comparing the blues with each other, but ILNP's is more of a true royal blue in a sense. And then I thought of ILNP's Darkest Hour, also a magnetic. So again, with the blue theme, you can kind of see it here, is that it gives a similar blue as Midnight Kiss, but a little bit darker, and it has blue glitters in there, it seems. So very different still. So then I thought maybe Hollow Tacos Playing with Sapphire would be close to the blue shade underneath Curiosity's Trap, but that is not the case. And so I thought, well, when I shake it and I apply it unmagnetized, it kind of gives a green bronzy effect. So I thought of comparing it with Hollow Tacos Menchie Cat Eye. And this one is hard to see right now as is because the yellow really pulls up forward. But the reason why Curiosity's Trap is giving such a green bronze look when applied unmagnetized is because, you know, color theory, yellow and blue make green, and because the yellow particles inside Curiosity's Trap are intertwined with the blue base, it gives it that off green look, kind of similar to how Menchie Cat Eye looks like, but you'll see that in the swatches. Okay, so in the middle we have Curiosity's Trap. On the left side we have Curiosity in a cat eye look, and on the right we have Curiosity's Trap unmagnetized. Next to that, on the right, we have Menchie Cat Eye unmagnetized. And here's kind of where you can see where I thought these would be similar. What I noticed though is that Menchie is more of a pale, bronzy, like pale gold, essentially. Whereas Curiosity's Trap unmagnetized looks a little bit more vibrant, more yellow leaning. You can see here on the furthest left side where I have Menchie Cat Eye in the cat eye effect, where you can see the color of the magnetic pole resulting in unmagnetized form looking more silvery in a sense. Above Curiosity's Trap in the cat eye form, I have Island Peace Darkest Hour in the cat eye form. And in here you can see the silver magnetic pole along with the very dark, almost black base with the blue speckles going throughout. And then underneath Curiosity's Traps cat eye look, I have Hollow Tacos Playing with Sapphire. The blues are very different. Even if I layer this one up to 2 or 3 coats, it would not look as royal bluish as this one. And then next to Playing with Sapphire on the right, I have Island Peace Midnight Kiss. Again, more of that royalish blue hinting out than what the blue base looks like in Curiosity's Traps with the cat eye look. So I don't have anything like this. I don't have anything like any of these 3 magnetics in this collection. And finally we have Pandora's Box. So first up I have Freshly Bitten, and we've seen this one earlier. So this one I feel like the base color is very, very similar. I guess you could say that in the bottle, Pandora's Box is more purple leaning than this one is. Another one that we've seen in this comparison section is MOONCAT's Fields of Lavender. These are both magnetic. So there's Pandora's Box. Here is Fields of Lavender. Fields of Lavender has that muted purple base, and Pandora's Box has that magenta color. So next up I have Dimensions Nail Stegosaurus, and this one's more of a muted, almost velvety looking red. And I guess I remembered incorrectly how the base color is, but yeah, not exact. And the next one I had was Cirque Colors Berry Valentino, and this one again is not magnetic. It is kind of a multi-chrome in a sense, but when I rest it like this, it has that like magenta-y shift to it that I thought perchance it could be similar to Pandora's Box's base. And then lastly, I thought of Hollow Tacos Plum Luck, as it kind of gives a similar color, maybe a little bit darker and a little bit more fun with all those glitters versus just a magnetic pull. So Pandora's box reminded me that I did a holiday themed nail art using similar colors like this magenta-y and then very warm gold color. And I was using Hollow Taco's High Tea Hibiscus and Bottled Service. I think these two essentially make up Pandora's box, but again, Pandora's box is more purplish than High Tea Hibiscus, looking more fuchsia. Okay, I was in the middle of doing my swatches here, but I just remembered last minute about Hollow Taco's Siler Cat Eye, and maybe the unmagnetized version of Pandora's box could be similar. In the middle, we have Pandora's box. On the left, we have it in the cat eye look, and on the right, we have it unmagnetized. So going from the right of that is Siler Cat Eye unmagnetized. And although they kind of look similar in the bottle, Siler Cat Eye is much paler and is actually a pale orange compared to Pandora's box being a true warm gold type of color unmagnetized. So then to the right of Siler, we have Hollow Taco's Bottled Service, which is identical in the sense of color to Pandora's unmagnetized spot. Now moving on to Pandora's box in the cat eye look. Underneath it, I have Fields of Lavender magnetized to the cat eye effect. And you can tell the difference in the base color, how this is more of a muted purple. In Pandora's cat eye, you see that it's more of a, and here it kind of looks like plum. To the right of Fields of Lavender's cat eye look is Fields of Lavender unmagnetized. And of course, there's no similarities to anything of Pandora. And then underneath the cat eye look of Fields of Lavender is Hollow Taco's High Tea Hibiscus, which is much more fuchsia-y than Pandora's boxes. To the right of High Tea Hibiscus, we have Cirque Colors Very Valentino. And I thought that the base color would be similar to Pandora's box. I tilt it like this, then it brings out that redness within it, so not at all similar. To the left of Pandora's box cat eye effect, we have Siler in the cat eye effect. And again, nothing at all similar to it. Even the metallic poles are very different. And then to the left of the cat eye look of Siler, we have Hollow Taco's Plum Look. It seems like if I build it up enough, seeing in the middle here, it could look similar to Pandora's box base color here. Lastly, to the right of MOONCAT's Freshly Bitten is Dimension Nail Stegosaurus. And this one is so different. It's giving more wine red than almost a form of magenta. Overall, these are the swatches, and let's get into Future Yanelli. So that concludes our swatch and comparisons portion of this video. I overall really enjoyed this collection. I enjoy polishes that shift colors. So with this collection having quite a bit of that, definitely drew my eye in. And then the magnetics are something very different for me. I don't own anything as contrasty as these ones. I primarily have polishes with a silver magnetic pull, or polishes that have the same color or within the same color family type pull. So like Drown My Demons, it's a blue base and like a lighter blue magnetic pull. So having these be like kind of opposite colors, like green and red, blue and yellow, and then pink and orange essentially, it's pretty cool. I really enjoy that. Overall, yeah, I enjoy this collection. I really like shifty colors. That's how you get me. I'm like a bird. I see something shiny, it's just like, oh yes. But yeah, overall, the only caveats I had was really Green Eyed Monster being a little on the thicker end, but polish thinner will help that out. And the brand states as well that these types of polishes do get thick a little bit quicker than regular. So I know I'm expecting that. Please read the website descriptions, know what you're buying before you buy it, you know, make sure it's something that aligns with you. And then, speaking of websites and reading them, I wish that MOONCAT wouldn't like up their saturation of their photos on their website, because I looked at the polish, I looked at them when I had the skittle going on, and then I went on the website and I felt that the pictures on the website were a little bit more saturated in a sense, especially the Glory of Innocence. In their site, the purple really popped and was a little bit more vibrant and in your face. But in person, this purple is very gray leaning, and it has to do with the hollow, I'm sure. But the purple wasn't a vibrant purple to what I have seen on the website. So I know there's a whole kerfuffle of things with MOONCAT previously, and like they say they're working on it. And I understand that different devices see colors differently. Like the colors on my phone to the colors of my laptop to the colors of my TV, tablet, so on and so forth, different. 100% different. Like I don't think I've seen the exact same color be consistent on all 4 devices. So this is where I say wait for swatches. I'm sure the purpose of many other swatchers just like me is to represent the color that you see in person. I would assume that's the goal of us all, you know, as swatchers. But anywhoosies, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. Please leave any and all comments, questions, suggestions, and whatnot below, and we can chat about it. Please let me know if you like the new swatching format, just showing the one finger. I kind of got a little weird with it because I started seeing my finger more of a caterpillar, just like a squishy caterpillar getting polish applied on. So I started like, you know, when you stare at something too long and it's just like no longer real. That's what I started feeling with my when I was editing. But yeah, thanks so much again, and I will talk to you next time, hopefully. Bye.